Are you free? Light up your heart, light up your soul, light up your mind, light up the world, light up your country, man. Oh, you think you're ready? You think you're ready? Go! Oh, you're still there? You think you're ready? You think you're ready? Go! You're still standing? Alright. Do you know what time it is? You're still in bed thinking what you're going to do today? I'm already here working. Wanna be a winner? Not a whiner, right? Hey guys, don't be like me. I'm not free. This guy got me all here all the time. But I'm happy you guys are free. Freedom. Hi guys. Freedom. Come on. Light up your coconut. 99 cents. Oh yeah, man. What a fun. Yes. We're going to investigate. Alright, welcome to the Alan Show. Freedom. Oh yeah. It's that thing we're fighting for. Let's put our all glory here for a moment, with all respect. And we're going to begin to investigate. Guys, have a great day. Today is Wednesday, June 7th. June 17th, 2020. For a moment, I thought it was 18. Get busy, get busy, get busy. Guys, we're going to talk about power. Yesterday, in the world, we had a shocking, it should have sent shockwaves to the world. Indochina War flaring up. Did you hear the news yesterday? China and India went at it in the Himalayan borders. There were casualties. It should have sent shockwaves to the world, but we're too busy fighting one another, right? Okay. Let's talk about that for a moment and how's that important. There was a war between China and India that I'm going to give you I'm going to paraphrase, guys. I'm not a history teacher, or I'm just a salesman, and you know everything that we use, from clothing to weapons to everything. Some salesman out there has to sell it, right? So why would they make something if they're not going to use it, right? Or why would they build something if they're not going to sell it? Now you're getting the picture. This show is not just for anybody. Guys, I love that some people subscribe. And I love that some of you comment. I read your comments, believe it or not. I just do this for entertainment purpose, like a arts and craft, to see what it comes out to. So let's see what happens. But I started doing this for the first time in March 19th due to the pandemic, and to kind of illustrate people some of the reasons why we end up where we end up, and what can we do to get out. Right? You know, if you're busy learning 99% of the time, you're not going to have time to be down on your life or anything, because you constantly learning is like a like an aphrodisiac. Like, so it just builds you up, and it's like an exercise for your mind. You know, like you work out, and then you're learning, and you learn good stuff, and then you get motivated. It all begins with, I don't want to learn that, and then like, I don't want to go work out, and next thing you know, since I've been doing this, not only I feel excited, and you know, it's hard for me to find out what to talk about, excuse me, but the world gives me plenty of talk about. After all, I live a fairly long life, and I've seen a lot of things in my lifetime, good, bad, and ugly. So if you subscribe, I'll appreciate if you put a little dot or a happy face, whatever, just to let me know you're listening. And if you, for some reason, may not like something or whatever, just put so, because I want to learn. If I don't hear from you, I can learn. So I know I'm not perfect, and I know maybe something I said you were offended, or maybe something I said, and I have to learn to know my peeps, my people, you know. So I know you may be of all backgrounds, and I only have a tiny number of people. I want to see if I can increase that with good content. You know, guys, I can show you. If I put something crazy here, I get views, and you know, do we need any more chaos? How about if you make me exciting, and if you listen, and if I make you laugh or something, you let me know. That way I know I'm doing it, right? Because all I want to do is reach that one person. So every show, I want one person to tell me, you are crazy, or you made me laugh. One or the other, it doesn't matter. I'm a salesman, I can take it, right? Let's talk about this thing that happened yesterday. And let's talk about why is it so important to us, especially in these real fragile times. We know that China and India are one of the major trade partners of America. Remember when COVID-19 began, President Trump ran to India to speak to the counterpart over there. And I don't know what they talk about, but I'm sure it has something to do with everything. Trade, China conflict, China trade war, and also perhaps COVID-19. Now, a few months after that, boom, there it is. There is a conflict in the border, right? All right. Sell, sell, sell. ABC, always be closing. The Ottoman Empire, I'm going to move on to this side right here. See, this is Asia. This is where that conflict is, right here. India and China. Guys, if you don't have one of these maps, you don't know how much you're missing. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. I have it in different. I have it here. I have it here. So anytime I hear somebody talk about something from somewhere, I go right to it. Since I was a child, I always had this, and I always have one of these. So I always scribble. Instead of having your kids writing on the wall, teach them to write where you can erase it and write over again. These things are magical. Even for people who like graffiti, you know, with them. Just do it on this, you know. Take a picture, now you have digitally, and then you can erase it. Stop painting on somebody else's walls. That's not cool. And it's not art if you're not being allowed to do it, right? If you don't have permission. Nothing. It's just common sense. You wouldn't like that to be done unto you. Don't do it unto others. The golden rule. If we were all to follow that rule, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'll be out there having coffee and cookies all day long. All right, but let's talk about this. So here's this problem right here. There's Nepal, and there's the Himalayas, right? You know where the Mount Everest, right? Somewhere out here, right? So that's where their conflict began. I guess they've been pushing around. They had a physical fight one time, not too long ago. I think it was last year, where there was an actual bunch of people fighting, but it was all fist fight. There's a lot of, manly stuff in these areas where people rather fight with fists than, because that makes them feel more, right? It used to be that way a long time ago. But we're not going to talk about this for a moment. We're going to come back to that. But we're going to talk about an ancient, not too ancient, but it started a long time ago. And it went for about 600 years, which was the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire went into the areas of Turkey, down to Middle East, into Northern Africa, all the way down to Spain in Europe. They control those areas, and it was part of an Islam and multiple races. Believe it or not, there were multiple races involved in that. But why am I bringing you this? Because the Ottoman Empire was also made of a whole lot of minorities. Do that ring your bell? All right, guys. There's a time where minorities get together and they say, you know what? I don't want to be a minority suffering. I want to be a minority doing better. So I guess minorities sometimes they get together and they say, well, let's go for it. Something that might be out there somewhere. Okay. Forget it. I don't know anything. I'm a salesman. But what I'm coming to here is what brought down, according to writings and speculations and facts, right? What brought down the Ottoman Empire? Well, a lot of the foundation of that of that empire was done, like often it is, on precious metal like gold and stuff like that. So when the Americas was discovered by the Spaniards, and guess what they found? They found gold, silver, and it gave them oxygen. So people say, oh, they came here for the good looks. No. They needed that gold and that silver to finance their counter, right? To be able to recover their territories and things like that. So what happens when you have money? You can buy people to work for you. Especially back in those days. So guess what? Now you have something that you can, sponsor to protect yourself. Like, let's say you are afraid and you went and hired 2 bodyguards because you want to protect yourself. Well, I don't have money for 2 bodyguards, but if you do, then more power to you. No hating. Right? So this is exactly what it is. Right now, one of the biggest budgets in the world for protection is ours, America. Because we have to protect ourselves from other people. They want a piece of the pie, right? Let's talk about the Ottoman Empire. 2 things happened to them. Obviously, the influx of metals coming from the Americas, it depreciated their power of their precious metal, because now there is more money out there, right? Not only that, but now having that newfound power with extra metals coming in, the people that were in the conquered territories were able to push those back by financing that counter attack. Now you see how it works. Buyers and sellers. Now you understand why I'm a salesman. It's fun when you're doing good things. Okay, so you pushed all these people. And also there was another thing that happened. When you are an empire, you dominate the trade. That's what makes you an empire. So whatever goes into those territories, you control pricing and you control the amounts of things. Well, what happened is when they found this thing called America, which is where great sailors from Britain, Spain, Portugal, and all France, and everybody, right? You see the French colonies, everybody came over here, picked up stuff. So they got stuff. When they got that stuff, then they went back home Excuse me, I got the window open, it's too early and it's cold. So the they got stuff, so they were not dependent on the empire that much. So that means they were countering trade, countering currency, because they were getting their own silver. So kind of became self-sufficient in their domestic countries. And then after they empower themselves, because money, believe it or not, gives people confidence. When people find money, they got bigger cars, and they can walk like a rooster, right? When they don't have money, they walk like people. You gotta love them. So, what is this all about? Well, this Indochina war should be sending alarms to countries like ours, because we depend on some of the items from there. Any disruption, especially right now with the COVID-19, it can be very hurtful. But forget about that. Let's keep an eye on that and hope it doesn't go into any more than that. But that event yesterday was pretty drastic, and now they're talking serious talks. Not only that, North Korea and South Korea, another important trading partner, right? Samsung, you got one of these things. A lot of technology comes from there, and then they're going at each other. In fact, they blew up that liaison office that they had built a couple of years ago and say, we don't want to talk no more. This is it. All right. Sellers, buyers, and sellers. Right? Let's talk about America a little bit. America, right? One thing that struck me about the Ottoman Empire is that it talked about how things they went, how it became more difficult to get things. You gotta remember this. If other people get power, they get control over things, and it's more difficult for the other people if they were having easy access to those things then to get that. So the less stuff, it creates more value. So you have inflation, right? Buyers and sellers, the salesmen win. Buyer's market, seller's market, there you go. If you had all the water of the world, right? Wouldn't you be the king? Exactly. Hiding kings, they own the water. Remember that. So let's talk about this. America is a very interesting country, or I'll call it an empire. I call it because it's surrounded by friends. A lot of countries, you see India and China, they're not surrounded by friends. But we are surrounded by friends. Sometimes we don't call them friends, but they are friendly to us. We have Mexico in the south, Canada in the north. We have the friendly Atlantic Ocean and the friendly Pacific Ocean. What a deal we got here. Well, what happens here is China wants to be a dominant, right? It wants to become a first economy, dominating the trade, dominating the currency, and becoming first stage power. But how is it going to expand when you have countries like India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Mongolia on the north, and then Russia? So you can expand to the west. So you have to go to the east. Now you're paying attention. When we were a little baby country, we had something called colonies. And you see how the colonies went from east to west. They expanded the territory, and they became what is called Chinese Sea to Chinese Sea America. That's where we are. If you go around the world, there's only few countries that have that luxury to have two oceans on each side. That's a powerhouse, because you get access to both oceans for trade. Incredible. Buyers and sellers, seller's market, buyer's market. Are you a buyer or a seller? Well, America became a powerhouse by selling. The Made in America label that I used to love when I was a kid, I remember the first time I got my Nike shoes that it said Made in America, and it had a fluorescent little Nike symbol with blue color. Those were like green and blue. Oh God, Lord. I used to sleep with those. Seriously. Because, not only you knew they were long lasting, strong as they can be, and it was the number one product in the world. Made in America was the product to have. If you got a refrigerator, make sure you pick the right one, because that one is the one you're going to be looking at it for 40 years. Well, then in the late 80s into the early 90s, we brought into the country called something consumerism. And that's why I want to talk to you about the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire kind of like bought themselves into, by consuming so much, they end up creating something called inflation, because the products weren't coming as fast and the currency wasn't as strong, and they couldn't afford that lifestyle. And since they were so expanded, they couldn't afford the war to protect those territories, and then little by little they were losing here and there, little town here, little town there. Does it sound like something you hear about there? Okay. Now let's go to the final chapter of this. This Indochina war is so crucial right now in our history, because we don't want that. It's a sort of two. I don't know. Just, you know what I mean. Meaning that if this happened, we're gonna have a problem getting products if it becomes something out of hand, right? Like something big, because they will have to concentrate on the conflict, and it might hurt production of things. On the other hand, it's an opportunity for us to grow as an American made products and become sellers again. What's hurting America mostly is not that we don't produce here, it's that people don't buy what we produce. That happened in other countries, like in South America, where people didn't buy the stuff from home, and guess what? They had to get in debt to buy stuff that is more expensive. Sometimes the quality is not there, but vanity, right? The sin of all. When we like something because other people don't have it, then that can be a problem if it becomes a fever. So America and these little red arrows, what it does, it creates money and it buys everything that these people are throwing at us, from avocados all the way up to cars and clothing. Every essential to medical systems, medical products. I don't know. I can't. It's incredible, right? Never seen in history, by the way. We are a consumer-based society that buys things on creating basically money to buy it. And then what we've done at the turn of this decade is we decided to, let's change that around. We're going to go back to 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s, where we were exporting more than what we were importing. The trade imbalance of the 90s and 2000s created a real headache for our powers to be, because at home we are not consuming what we're producing, and we're spending the house to buy from outside. So this COVID-19 is an opportunity for the entire world to reset the way they do things that aren't working. After all, we had a housing bubble that created homelessness and a horrible chaos for all of us, and we had to make more money to get out of that one, and this is where you are today. That wasn't free, and that was not, you just put it under the carpet. Now it has surfaced again, and COVID-19 probably is the opportunity for the countries like this to take another crack at staying where they are. But it's not going to be that easy. So these conflicts that you see here being developed, and they are actually developing all over the world. People are getting more friction with each other because COVID-19 has created a domestic emergency. And a lot of times, the only way you can solve a domestic emergency is by conflicting with your neighbors. Sometimes you get a fight with your neighbor so that you don't have to deal with your home. And you become a hero, right? So it's the oldest trick in the book, and now we see it develop and on HD and 4K. Thank you to the salespeople of the world that makes this world go around. Guys, it's amazing when you can witness this thing. When I was a kid, I had to wait for the newspaper to give me yesterday's news. Today, the news are being formed as we speak. So for those people who want to be globalists, there's nothing wrong to have ideas, right? Perhaps this is a good blowback that people don't want to be together sometimes. They want to be different, they want to be their own, and this is what this is about. There's a clash and a collision between two philosophies, one of borders and one of no borders. Well, how is it working for you guys now? I mean both. I don't care. I'll play my music. I'm a salesman. So here's what it is. Right? Let's go. We want to keep this country. We need to get busy, busy, busy. We need to get out of this rut of spending, and we need to get into creating. There's nothing wrong to be a winner. It's your call. Empires come because people get lazy. Wow, what a sin, right? Did you know that that's the first sin? Laziness. Oh, bring me more margaritas, por favor. I want that suit. Sir, it's time for you to go to work. I'll go tomorrow. What are you ready? One, two, three, go! Time to go to work. What an ugly work. It's coming. Are you ready? How you gonna keep what you have? Sitting down? Fight, fight, fight! Or are you gonna fly? Your choice. Love you guys. Subscribe. Share. I want a little more. I still have a few minutes. Woo! This is crazy. Freedom is not free, my friend. Somebody misspelled that. Freedom. Freedom. Take care, guys. Please share, subscribe, like, and remember, there's always tomorrow. Bye.